welcome to the Carton Show. Big Mac, Craig Carton, Chris McMonigle. Great to have you here, and really a lot of stuff to get to, all of it New York related. So we're going to try to compartmentalize. We'll cover everything over the next 4 or 5 hours for you for sure. But let me start off on this frigid day, which frankly, I'm not going to bitch about. It's winter. It's cold in the winter. It sucks, but I can't say when people come on the radio and go, oh, it's so cold. It's January. It's supposed to be cold. My only beef is not inside. And for some reason, it feels like we stopped paying the heating bill in this studio. It is 47 degrees here, but I'm going to power right through. Good afternoon, Big Mac. How are you today?
Oh, you're a real champion, Craig. What's going on? How are you?
Yeah, I've lost 15 pounds since we started the show.
Is that a fact?
I don't keep the heat in the way I used to.
Yeah. Look at you, 15 pounds down?
I'm down. Since they announced that we were doing the show, I'm down 18 pounds. Since we started the show, I am down 15 pounds, and I try to be an example for others.
Right?
Not you per se, but maybe more.
I was going to say, thanks a lot.
Anyhow, we got a great show for you today. I was flipping a coin in the studio. Do I want to start off with the embarrassing moment that happened for you New York Giant fans about an hour or so ago? Or do I want to start off with the reality that the New York Knicks are one step closer to getting Giannis? So let's start with the football. All right, here we go.
Okay.
How do you process as a New York Giant fan who told me that Moses himself was now in charge of all things Giants football, the great John Harbaugh, who everybody wants to coach with and everybody wants to play with, who's going to get the New York Giants out of the abyss that they've been in? I'm asking an obvious, I think a fair and honest question. The New York Giants thought they had an offensive coordinator. They had already negotiated the deal with Todd Monken to come here with John Harbaugh from Baltimore. We was there for the last couple of years after leaving Georgia to come to the NFL. Now, to be fair, he was in the NFL years ago, actually with the Cleveland Browns. Kitchens was the real head honcho there, so he had the title for 1 year of OC. He didn't call any plays, so we kind of scrubbed it off his resume, right? But how do you, as a Giant fan, reconcile that Jesus himself has lost Todd Monken, not just to any team, but the worst team in the NFL? And how upset are you about that?
I'm not upset at all.
I'm sorry?
I'm not upset at all.
You lost your offensive coordinator to the Cleveland Browns.
He was not the Giants' offensive coordinator. He seemed to be the first choice. There's no doubt about that. He was.
Yeah.
And then losing to the Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator position, he took a head coaching job
with
in
the
NFL.
Cleveland Browns.
There's 32 of them, Craig.
Yes.
That's it.
There's only 32 OC jobs also.
He might not get another chance. I think he probably would if he came here and was successful with Harbaugh.
So you're okay with it?
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I don't see how you cannot be. You're really that disappointed.
No,
that
I'm
the
not.
number one choice. Let me tell you something.
I'm not. I just thought everybody
John
wanted
Harbaugh,
to coach with him. That's what I thought. I was wrong.
He took a head coaching job.
I apologize. I clearly was wrong. Here, I thought John Harbaugh comes to New York and kind of like the Pied Piper, everybody's going to come with him. And the first major guy he wants, Todd Monken, to run the offense with your rock star quarterback, said, all right, I've got a choice. I could be the offensive coordinator in New York City with the great Jaxson Dart, or I could be the head coach for a dysfunctional team in Cleveland without a quarterback, and he chose the latter. I'm just interested in the decision-making. That's all. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I'm not asking you to apologize.
I'm going to apologize because I feel like I hurt your feelings.
No, not at all. As a Giant fan, I'm surprised. Look, is there some disappointment that their number one choice, the guy he wanted to come in here? I mean, I suppose.
I bet there is.
I think Monken, here's what I know. And you tried to kind of make this point last week or earlier in this week about Harbaugh and the coaching tree.
Yeah.
What I do know is that over the 19 years in Baltimore, he had a competent and successful coaching staff with him damn near every year.
Okay.
And I am not worried about John Harbaugh picking the right offensive coordinator. That's the whole point of bringing John Harbaugh here. It's not necessary that everybody will come running out of the woodwork. Anybody, who hasn't coached in 20 years and works for Barstool suddenly wants to come out and be the coach for this franchise.
Yeah.
Whoever he picks is going to be a good choice. That's what it's about. Him recognizing, being able to decide on who his good coach is. He's got a defensive coordinator coaching in the Super Bowl right now.
That's right.
It's not necessarily what they became after. It's what they are when they're with him.
Yes.
And that has been successful.
Okay.
So I have confidence. If this were another lesser coach, I'd be more concerned about choice two. But I am confident that John Harbaugh knows how to decipher talent
Fair
and
enough.
can figure out how to be a good head
But
coach.
it's
And plus, I also told you about the idea if Monken takes a head coaching job now,
yes,
if he comes in this year, he's successful with Dart, where he's everything we hoped he would be. Dart becomes a star. Giants are who I think they are, 10-win team or whatever. Now he's clearly on the candidate list. You lose him next year.
Yeah,
and I
good
hate
chance
that.
of that.
I don't want to have Jaxson Dart 3 coaches in 3 years. I don't want that for him.
Yeah, I love your positivity.
Yes.
I love the fact that you've turned an embarrassing negative into a positive story, and I appreciate that. But don't act like the Giants weren't shocked by this, because they were. They had already made him the offer.
Yeah.
They negotiated the contract. They thought Todd Monken was coming with. And it is interesting that Todd Monken chose a franchise without a quarterback over a franchise with a guy that looks like he's on a rocket ship to start him in year number 2. And no matter how you cut it, that's embarrassing. Now, maybe he pivots and goes back to Greg Roman. I don't know. Maybe he pivots and the guy he does get that's willing to come here is a rock star and it all works out great.
Right.
And you have a nice 3, 4, 5-year run, and then that guy maybe gets a head coaching job elsewhere. If it happens that way, that'd be great. But let's not act like today you didn't take a hit. You took a hit today. Now, it may not be a major hit, but the New York Giants franchise, and I don't hate the Giants, I don't. I respect the Giants. I think the Giants got the right guy as head coach, but, someone's got to be the voice of reason around here, and it's a little embarrassing when the Cleveland Browns steal the guy that you wanted. That's embarrassing. Sorry.
You know what's embarrassing, honestly? What's embarrassing is you spend all day yesterday trying to tell me how competent the Jets are and how quickly they could become the Seattle Seahawks simply because they don't have a quarterback and they had Geno Smith last year. Like, that's the lone comparison that could somehow propel the Jets into stardom next year, back into the Super Bowl for the first time since 1969. And the most embarrassing moment happened to your franchise.
What is that?
This is less embarrassing for the New York Giants
than
the talk of the town all last night and in through today that the Jets reached out to a candidate and offered him or spoke to him about a position that he had absolutely no interest in. And if you're going to yell at me and tell me that a coach decided to pick the Cleveland Browns over the New York Giants, you had a coach pick Frank the Tank over coming and joining the Jets.
What?
That's exactly
How
what happened.
dare you
He's like,
say
I'm going to
such a
stay
thing.
with Barstool. I'm going to stay with Barstool. I'm not interested in joining this, despite the fact that I'm persona non grata in the NFL. Despite the fact that nobody else would even consider talking to me.
Nobody did.
That there were 10 coaching opportunities that opened this year.
Right.
And despite every fan from here to Timbuktu throwing out my name because I'm funny and I'm glib and I'm the guy everybody remembers, widespread banana. And it's just every fan who really isn't that doesn't understand what's going on in the NFL wants me to be the coach. And nobody has even dared call me for a job. The Jets do. And me saying no is hilarious, and we all mock the Jets for it.
By the way, I think that's a very fair take.
That is a fair take on it.
I did find out the truth about that. Aaron Glenn did call Jon Gruden. That is a factual story. I'm not sure which reporter had it, maybe Connor Hughes, but that is a factual story.
That the coach called.
So I want to walk you through because I made a phone call and I checked. So Aaron Glenn did pick up the phone. Aaron Glenn called Jon Gruden to get a sense of, are you looking to get back into coaching? Now he's got a major lawsuit with the NFL. I'm not sure how much money Barstool pays him, but they did reach out to Aaron Glenn. They did not offer him a job. It was more of an exploratory phone call, but they own it. Aaron Glenn called, pardon me.
That's surprising.
It wasn't Woody Johnson. It was Aaron Glenn that picked up the phone and called Jon Gruden, and Jon Gruden said, I'm not interested. Now, I'm not sure if that's because the Jets are an embarrassment. Makes a lot of sense to me. Or if it's because of this pending lawsuit he's got with the NFL. But regardless of what the reason was, yes, it's embarrassing that there were 10 head coaching openings, 30 coordinator openings. Not a single person called Jon Gruden that we're aware of, but my team did.
Yes.
And to be fair to my guy, Frank the Tank, I called him first too. But he's very busy. He's cooking in New Jersey. He's doing all sorts of crap. So I reached out to Frank the Tank.
He's busy walking and hanging out with Schwarzenegger. I get it.
I guess the real question is, because you guys were so set, and rightfully so, I get it, on Todd Monken joining a Harbaugh staff, and I don't want to put you on the spot here because a lot of guys haven't taken, and yes, I'm sure there's plenty of guys available that we may not even contemplated yet. Is there a guy you have in mind that you want now for the OC job to bring along a young quarterback or not yet?
I really like Davis Webb
Okay, he seems to be a high in demand, right?
He's high in demand right now. Obviously, there's rumors that he was with the Broncos as quarterback coach, whatever. And
real quick, the Denver Broncos fired their offensive coordinator today. They fired their offensive coordinator because apparently Sean Payton, who made the decision not to kick the field goal in the first half and take a 10-0 lead, needed a scapegoat. So they not only fired Joe Lombardi, they fired half the staff. After losing an AFC championship game with a backup quarterback who hasn't thrown a pass in 2.5 years, they decided, it ain't my fault. It's got to be somebody else's fault.
Right.
And they fired Joe Lombardi, their offensive coordinator.
Right. So the thought is partly because of that was because they think highly of Webb and would like to make him the new offensive coordinator. But I don't know how anybody views anybody on a real trajectory, and he has been since he retired from playing football, kind of really well thought of. To step into that role and be the underling to Sean Payton, who's going to call plays,
That's
and
right.
going to be thought of as the
kind
offense.
of a BSOC job.
Yeah, it's kind of not a great job to make that next leap into coaching. So we'll see. I think he's interviewing at multiple places for coordinators. That one jumps off the list to me. I know there's been some connection. I saw Art Stapleton. I mentioned it yesterday on the show. Art Stapleton put out there that Charlie Weiss Jr., who was obviously with Jaxson Dart.
He was at Ole Miss. Now he's going to LSU.
And now he's going to LSU. Yeah. That could be a comfortable fit for the quarterback.
Is he the guy? Is he the writer that was dropping F-bombs online today?
No, that was Joel Sherman.
Joel Sherman's cursing now?
Yes.
Desperate. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Don't knock my guy Joel.
Yeah,
he's joining the dark side with me.
I love
it.
I love when writers, make fun of radio guys for being shock jocks and make fun of people for, clickbait and all that stuff. And they recognize that their medium is dead. So they go on, they start doing podcasts and videos, and no one pays attention to them. So they start cursing for attention. Ugh. Joe Sherman cursed out Yankee fans, dropped 2 F-bombs in 10 seconds. And I'm like, I kind of want to like it, but that guy's hated this medium for so long and been against people like me for so long. And now he's apparently so desperate for clicks and attention that he's dropping F-bombs at Yankee fans. Ugh. Go do another Marchand podcast and get back to me. Ugh. What else? Yeah, sorry.
Well, that's all right. We might have to get into that later because
you can bring Joel on the show. Call him. I don't care.
I love it. The heel turn too because he had it back. If you remember, a couple years ago, he had a back and forth with Brian Cashman.
I was unaware of that.
That got heated.
Okay.
After the Yankees didn't make the playoffs in 23, that offseason, he had a heated exchange about Anthony Volpe with Brian Cashman and went at him. And he got Brian Cashman riled up, and Brian Cashman was dropping F-bombs.
Wow.
Like, it was a good heated exchange. And the very fans that he's yelling at now kind of held him up like, thank you. Somebody finally called Cashman for all this crap.
Yeah.
Thank you. So he was like the guy that these Yankee fans propped up, like Joel Sherman. He'll tell it like it is.
Yeah.
And now he is on this podcast. Tell them all that they need to shut the F up. It's hilarious. I love every second
That's
of
great.
it.
I like that too.
Yeah.
So he was the hero for Yankee fans, and now he's
Yankee fans who hate the Yankees, the self-loathing Yankee fans who Hal is cheap, Cashman's stupid, Boone's a moron. They were holding up Joel Sherman because he was the first guy to really go at Cashman.
Okay, I got you.
And get Cashman all pissed.
And now he's cursing out the very people.
And now he's like saying, "Oh, you guys calling Hal cheap? You're never going to shut the bleep up." I love it.
All right, so the Giants lose Todd Monken. Now, by the way, not the end of the world. Just I always say it's embarrassing because when you lose anybody, by the way, it could be the Jets too. When you lose somebody to a dysfunctional organization like the Cleveland Browns, you have to take a little body blow on that. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful.
Right.
Doesn't mean the guy you wind up hiring that wants the job isn't going to kill it. It's just a bit of a body blow.
It is.
And everything was so positive with John Harbaugh. And we all thought Todd Monken's coming with, and that should be great. Young quarterback. Obviously he coached in college, so maybe he can relate, even though he's 60 years old, to a young kid like a Jaxson Dart. And to lose him to the Browns, it's a body blow. It ain't the end of the world, but it's a little embarrassing. It's kind of like the New York Jets calling Jon Gruden when nobody else wants Jon Gruden.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can accept that.
I don't know.
I'm good with that.
I don't know if
or
it's
how
the same
about
level
this?
of embarrassment.
How about the Jets hiring?
He chose Barstool, and the other guy chose a head coaching job
by the way,
in the NFL.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
How many other job opportunities does Jon Gruden really have outside of Barstool?
I don't know.
To be fair.
Probably
none.
Not none. Inside football.
Not in the NFL, he doesn't.
No, and that's why I want to say, let's make it clear, because Portnoy put out a tweet, the most disrespectful job offer of all time. That's a bunch of nonsense.
What, the Jets offer?
Yeah,
Why is that disrespectful?
That's what I'm saying.
They're the only team that was willing to pick up the phone and call him.
That is not disrespectful.
And they did not offer him a job. I want to be clear.
Right.
They called him to see, is this a situation that you would consider coming to? And what are you looking to do? What do we want you to do? I would assume it'd be OC. But they never actually made him an offer. And by the way, 31 other teams have not picked up the phone that we're aware of to call Jon Gruden, and he has a multi-million-dollar lawsuit in Nevada State Court against the NFL. So the most owners are saying the juice ain't worth the squeeze on Jon Gruden.
Yeah, so
the Jets were willing to make the call.
Right. So Dave Portnoy, who runs Barstool, who he's working for.
I love Dave.
Top one most insulting job offers of all time.
Well, he's a Patriots fan.
All of that. I get it. But I'm just saying, but many people ran with that. Like, you're going to call me, you're not going to offer him the head coaching position. Why would Jon Gruden be interested? Like, Jon Gruden be lucky to get any job inside the NFL
Gruden's unemployable right now.
I mean, so that part of it is the more part of it is that the Jets, they literally, I mean, come on, Craig, we talked about this yesterday. I know you said you don't want to fight with me.
All good.
I don't want to fight with you.
Go.
But we talked about it yesterday. He's firing everybody. He just hired a defensive coordinator, which the Giants are embarrassing that they're picking their second candidate. The Jets just picked their ninth choice to be the defensive coordinator.
Ninth interview. Doesn't mean ninth choice.
Probably. I mean, it couldn't have been. They didn't even meet in person, Craig.
It was a Zoom call.
It was just a Zoom call.
Well,
now, he has experience working with them in Detroit, but still, it's a Zoom call. It's the ninth interview they had.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the lines, he decided, screw this, I'm just going to call the defense, so it doesn't matter who we hire.
Well,
they fired the entire coaching staff.
That's the answer.
And then the plan is, which I told you, you know what? At least I'll give you this, Craig.
Go ahead.
I feel like they have a plan. I'm not going to say they're idiots and that they're just firing people willy-nilly with no plan.
Yes.
I think it's a bit... I think it speaks to poor leadership. Yeah. I think it's a bit hyperbolic. Why am I saying? Why am I not coming up? Hypocritical.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a bit hypocritical to give me this whole, big ships turn slow, have faith, and then fire the whole staff. Like, I think of all of that, but at least I'll say they wouldn't do this without some sort of plan. Well, and then we wake up to the news that their plan is to reach out to Jon Gruden.
Yeah. Well, just because we don't like the plan doesn't mean they don't have a plan. And obviously the plan is Aaron Glenn is going to run the defense. He brought in a guy that he did work with in Detroit for a couple of years. It does sound weird, I'll admit this. When the New York Jets announced that their new defensive coordinator was the passing game coordinator in Miami, you kind of say to yourself, what'd you talk about, Willis? We just hired a defensive coordinator who ran the offense in Miami. Well, to be fair, in Detroit, he was obviously a defensive coach.
And I do believe his position with Miami was passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach.
Yeah.
So
which I've never heard of in my life before.
So. Was he the defensive pass coordinator? I have no idea.
I have no idea.
But he's the new defense.
Look, by the way, I own it. My team is an embarrassment.
Is it Duke or Ducker?
I own it. It's, I don't know, Duker, I think.
It's Duker?
I think it's Duker.
Doesn't matter. We'll never talk about him again.
Correct. Al Dukes is on the line from Al Dukes Incorporated. Al Dukes, what's up?
Hey, what's up? My sources are telling me Jon Gruden to the Giants OCs. That's right.
You have sources now?
That's right. I've got sources. Jon Gruden turned down the Jets because he knew Todd Monken was going to Cleveland, and he's taking the Jaxson Dart Giants job because he loves him some Jaxson Dart.
Let me ask you a question. Right. You produce a show in the morning here still, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering,
I just got this information.
Did you? Oh, you just got it now? You didn't have it this morning?
Yeah, well, I was driving and I heard that you guys said that Todd Monken was going to Cleveland. I quickly worked.
You figured it out. Well, I can now report that our NFL insider, Albert Anthony Aloysius Dukes, is saying that Jon Gruden is pegged to be the new offensive coordinator of the New York Giants. Great breaking story, Al. What's amazing about it is that it's sports related.
Yeah, that is the shocking part,
Because the only person in Radio New York that gets more grief about allegedly not liking sports more than me would be you.
Well, he does an hour a day trying desperately to prove it. So
yes, 5 to 6. Which, by the way, I told everyone before I came back here to do the show, I thought that was the best hour of radio on the radio station. And up until I got back here, I still did. Mm-hmm. Now it's not. Now it's the 5th best hour. But this
I do have my own hour. That's right.
The 6th best hour. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you this: do you feel your first hour is stronger, or your last hour, or a middle hour?
Well, we've only done, what is it now, 18 shows? I would say that the first hour is the most sports-centric hour we do. Mm-hmm. Yes. I would say the middle hours are probably the most entertaining, but might not be as much sports content. And the last hour, I'm just warming my car up, ready to go home.
I used to tell people back in the Boomer and Carton days when I'd be out and they say, I love Boomer and Carton. I'd say, when do you normally listen?
Yeah.
They'd be like 6 to 6:30. I go, you get a sports show.
That's right.
That's
I'm
true.
kind of doing the same thing now with Big Mac, yeah. Because I get bored by right about now. That's a matter
We've
of
already
fact.
had enough.
So, all right, all good out. Good talking to you. Thanks for the scoop, buddy.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you,
All
Al.
right, Al Dukes with the big scoop. The New York Giants are now favorites to land Jon Gruden.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to hit myself for doing this because I lay no credence at all to Al's breaking news, nor should anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
if the New York Giants announce tomorrow that Jon Gruden is the new offensive coordinator, my gut tells me you would celebrate it.
I wouldn't celebrate it, but this is what you reference John Harbaugh as Jesus.
Yeah.
This is the difference.
Okay.
John Harbaugh is the head coach.
Yes.
And he's an established head coach.
Okay.
He is the man.
Yeah.
Right? John Gruden joining the staff with the Jets.
Yes.
Feels awkward. There's no quarterback. There's no plan.
Sure.
I mean, I'm surprised to hear the coach called because immediately fans would be screaming for John Gruden to take over the team. That doesn't happen. There's a quarterback in place with the New York Giants.
Would you
There's a head
celebrate
coach,
it?
and I wouldn't celebrate
Would
it.
you be happy about it? Interesting.
I don't think I'd be
Interesting
happy
take
about it either. No.
All right, be consistent.
I would not be happy
All right,
about it.
because
I don't
if
think
you'd be happy
I would
about
not
it-
call it a disaster. I'd be shocked if they did it. I wouldn't be overly happy about it. I would give it a chance and say if John Harbaugh felt this was the right move, I'm going to give it a chance.
It's still in John Harbaugh we
Correct.
trust.
Yep.
So that's very interesting to me. You mock the Jets
Yes.
for merely picking up the phone and having a conversation.
Yeah.
But if Jesus himself, John Harbaugh, picked up the phone to call Jon Gruden, you wouldn't mock that. That wouldn't be mockable.
If it came out,
that's
again,
interesting to me.
If he came out and turned it down. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not just that
But he didn't
if
turn
the
anything
Jets
down.
announced him as the offensive coordinator,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's embarrassing.
Okay.
They called him and he said, no thanks.
Yeah, but
He's
let's-
untouchable. You can't hire him anywhere. And the Jets called and he's like, nah.
But why is it embarrassing to pick up the phone?
Because you
wouldn't be embarrassed if the Giants picked up the phone and he said no. By the way, he might be saying no because of the lawsuit.
I would be embarrassed if he said
you
no.
Would. So
absolutely.
You would.
If
Okay,
John
that's fair. That's
Harbaugh
consistent.
if John Harbaugh called him and he
Yes.
said no, I'm not interested,
Yeah.
I would be embarrassed.
You
and
would.
that came out,
okay.
yes, I'd be
Very
embarrassed.
consistent on
Yeah.
that. But if he does call Jon Gruden up and Jon Gruden
He better
says,
get him.
I'm your Huckleberry,
Yeah.
you're not going to take a shot at, is that the right guy for this franchise? I don't like it. It's embarrassing. We
wouldn't-
can do better.
I wouldn't use the word embarrassing. I would say I don't love it. I'm surprised by it.
Interesting.
But if John Harbaugh thinks this is a good idea,
So you're still all in.
I'm
what
open to it because John Harbaugh believes it.
what Harbaugh says is still the gospel for you.
I'm open to anything
Okay,
he says.
fair enough. I
will
appreciate
be critical
that.
of it, and
Yeah.
I will say it wouldn't have been my choice. But John Harbaugh makes the decision.
Yes.
I'm open.
Well,
to
then,
it.
can I say a prayer to the sports gods?
Yes.
Sports gods, I don't
No,
ask
that
for
would be
much.
some story.
I do not ask for much. Can you please have Connor Hughes or Pat Leonard report that the New York Giants have expressed an interest in Jon Gruden, and Jon Gruden said, no, thank you? That's a day that I will enjoy being next to you and watching you squirm out of that chair to explain why a second coach said no to Jesus himself.
See, but and yesterday
Football Jesus.
Yeah. Yesterday you were talking about prayers, right?
Yes, because I'm a very spiritual person.
This is the difference.
Yes.
For something that bad to happen, Giant fans you would have to pray for it. The Jets, it was this morning.
I think it was yesterday, but
Well,
yes.
yeah. But we woke
Yes,
up
it
to
did
it.
happen.
Yeah.
And
it
by the way,
happened
the
to
Jets don't deny it.
Yeah.
The
No,
Jets do not
don't
deny it. It was
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn who did it. And it's another, I think, step in the right direction for Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn recognizes he sucked last year, and he's trying to bring better people in.
I'm surprised.
I'm good with it.
Aaron Glenn making the phone call changes a lot of my thought process.
In a good way or a bad way?
I guess in a good way. I was listening to them this morning, and the idea is if it's Woody Johnson. That was my initial thought, right? It's Woody Johnson who loves making a splash, would love to bring in a name like that, give the fans some red meat to talk about instead of how awful we are, hire a big name.
Clicks, that kind of stuff.
And then boom, bad year next year, immediately Jon Gruden, and then even if that
stop
doesn't
there.
work
Your
out.
point was right, though.
Yeah.
You already said 5 minutes ago. If the Jets did hire Jon Gruden, I don't care what the position is, let's just say OC for the sake of the conversation, by week 3, if not sooner, every one of us is saying, we got our head coach. Yeah, let's get it done now.
Glenn
100%
sucks,
right.
Put in
Yep,
Gruden. No
100%
doubt.
right.
So that's why I'm surprised that Glenn would make the phone call putting that target on his back like that. So I thought it was Woody Johnson. And then the question would be, which Evan asked, and I think is a fair one, like, is now Gruden the name if Glenn gets fired?
I don't think so, because Glenn's the one that called him, not Woody Johnson.
That's what I'm saying. That changes my thought process.
All right, we got lots to do today. We got the Knicks on the clock right now as well. If you are just tuning in, we're going to try to go back and forth as much as we can. Shams reported, that he's playing in the All-Star basketball game, the celebrity game, which I cannot wait to see an unathletic guy try to play basketball against a 5 or 3 inch rapper and get schooled. So I'm looking forward to that. But separate from that, Shams reported that Giannis has finally gone to Milwaukee and said, all right, it's time. The trade deadline is next week. All right, it's coming up. It's February, 5th?
February 5th,
right?
yep.
The trade deadline is now 1 week away. And Giannis has said, trade me. The Knicks are an obvious destination. I've got 3 other franchises you have to worry about. And we have been told that at least 2 franchises have already made initial offers to Milwaukee for the rights to Giannis. Mm-hmm. So what are the Knicks going to do? The owner said on this show exclusively 3 weeks ago, I would not expect a major deal like that.
Right.
He obviously can't specifically say Giannis because it's tampering. Now, all of a sudden, Giannis is in play, and he's going to be traded. We'll get into that coming up in just a second.
Ian Begley, for what it's worth, has reported that he believes that they will be one of the teams interested in making a move.
Well, look, we've been told that when they first talked about him during the offseason, it was Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, and Cat. And there may be a pick or 2 involved with that as well. And if that's the deal, you do it.
You do it.
You do it today.
You do it.
Yep.
And we all get real excited about it.
100% right.
Let's go.
Then you hope the calf is okay. I'm assuming it is.
That is
and
scary,
we go
man.
win a championship.
Calf.
So,
I mean, it's almost one after the other.
Yeah, we got
Almost
lots cooking today. We got the Giants on the clock for a new OC. We got the Jets trying to make moves. And we got the Knicks trying to get Giannis, who would become the best player for this organization, maybe since we acquired Earl the Pearl. That's on that. Yeah.
You already
maybe.
got it. Yeah, really?
Yeah, I was thinking
better,
about it.
He's better than Brunson right now? So as he steps
Well,
on the
no,
team?
like the best acquisition.
Oh, I got you.
Like that type of thing.
Okay.
Trade type of thing.
Oh, trade type of thing.
that type of acquisition, that type of scenario.
Okay.
Was I aggressive on that?
No. I'm just
So I'm
saying
giving that some more thought.
I just acquisition also includes free agent to me, but if you're
Better
talking
than
trade,
Carmelo, better than Amari, right?
Yeah.
I go back to Earl. The Pearl. That's where I go back. In any event, we'll get into all that stuff. And at some point, if things break, we'll bring it to you live and exclusively right here on The Fan. You know the numbers, 888-808-1019. Great to have you here. Let's get rocking after this.